Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's Squares Roundtable Podcast, episode 112. I'm Mike Boyle, and with me is Ivan.
Yes, and of course, with me also is Mr. Jeff Stein.
Whoops. What? Huh? Where'd he go? Now, Jeff is away this week. He's got a special speaking presentation. Obviously, virtual. It's obviously virtual.
I see. Okay. So the man with the vocal plan is out there making his grands, huh? Okay.
Yeah, he's doing some virtual public speaking, kind of storytelling kind of thing tonight. So we'll have him back next week for sure.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Well, hey, good on you there, Jeff. I'm sure by the time you get this, you wouldn't have the award in your hand, so I'm just going to have to say congratulations, there's my dream process. I hope you appreciate that.
Well, we'll see how he does. We'll find out next week.
Yeah,
so how you been? How was your week?
Oh, well, it was filled with all manner of different things. Filling out my voters forms and got those all ready to go. And had to take care of some paperwork. I got that squared away. Julie's doing all right, too. And Otis gets bigger and Marley gets more fat. So it's like, other than that, just everything's just been kind of rolling along. I was on the Scooter Sound supporting National Health Services on Saturday, and then I did a spinning wheel set on Sunday, and also my usual Sweet Soulful Sunday, which got real interesting. I have to say, people on Twitch, they're a different lot. They're great people, but then when you get the assholes, man, they just do nothing but surprise you. They're like trying to get the shock factor out of you from some of their very obscene, comments. But what you gonna do?
No, they're still trolling you. Is it the same dudes like from a couple of weeks ago?
No. Some dude. I'm not going to be the guy put him on blast, but it's just the usual dumb shit that happens, in my kind of business, and
yeah, when you're in a public forum and you're trying to do something, and the anonymity of the internet has become an excellent tool for people to just be an asshat.
Well, yeah, because they can hide behind the words now, and they don't need to be invested in any of it. They can just fire off and go, which, that's just a bunch of crap, and then of course, these people who they don't have to go into their record collections, and they don't have to spend the time, they don't have to do any of it. They do it because they love it. They do it because they want to do it, and it just upsets me that people have such a rude demeanor these days. And I was reading an article on Facebook today about the women disc jockeys that have kind of come up in force since the lockdown. And a lot of great women's groups, Slow Fizz, great women's group. And there are a number of others, and there are a lot of members, all female members, who are disc jockeying together to try to make the world a lovelier place. And then, for the most part, they appreciate it. But then you have these assholes who they got to make a rude comment about, a lady's weight or what they're dressing, or just vulgarities and perverted, sexualizations. It's like, people. When the fuck did we start making this okay to do all the time?
Like I said, it's just the anonymity of the internet. It just makes them, they feel like they're invincible, and they have no regard for other people's feelings, and all they can do is just don't feed the trolls. Let them live under their bridge, and let them just do what they do, and just, it's hard to ignore them sometimes, though.
Well, yeah, you just, and then, you get your friends that are getting fired on, and it makes you indignant, because it's like, you want to take on the responsibility of telling that person off yourself, but you can't because of what it is. But it just behooves me. So, message here, folks. You know what? All the disc jockeys that are spinning from home, besides the thing that they enjoy, it also keeps us from being lonely and disconnected and everything. We do it from the goodness of our hearts. So, I mean, I'm not asking for anything from anyone, but the least you can do is if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing, and let the other people who are enjoying it, let them enjoy the vibe, because right now things are tough. So, a little respect and appreciation goes a long way. So it's just that whole thing, So I just, I know, but me myself, it doesn't bother me much at all, because I'm already a tough old bird. I've been in the trenches for over 40 years.
Yeah. Well, what you got to do is you need to find some way to moderate the room while you're spinning the records.
Well, when you're doing it live, it's one thing, because then there's a way, there are certain protocols that a disc jockey can do to kind of disengage that type of a situation, and then you have people that also keep an eye out for the DJ, and they kind of come in and they concur that way. But when you online and everything, you don't have those defenses. You don't have
a means of moderating the room, the chat.
On my side of the screen, no, I do not.
Oh, okay. You need to find like a means of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I know I don't know if it does it during the live broadcast. It only happens on Twitch during the live broadcast and everything. There
should be a way to boot people from the room.
There should be. I'll have to just, really get in there and find out what it is. Put the time to it. Other than that, just shifting records, rediscovering things again in my collection, which I haven't heard in a while. I put a lot of them on the Sweet Soulful Sunday session this past Sunday. I found like 2 feet worth of really primo soul music, and like, oh my gosh, where's this been hiding, right? So getting into the room, and it's just like, turn everybody on. See, that's to make her happy, is the big thrill for me doing that. I mean, I'm doing any time, any place, anywhere. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of people out there that they're lawyers, they're doctors, they're surgeons, they got regular jobs, they got property that they're running and stuff like that, and to give a half hour or an hour of your time, that's something that need be considered. Me, it's like, here I am, but there's a lot of people out there that need to be respected for that, is all. Anyway, what else is there? Really not much else, really. I mean, birthday is just around the corner. It's kind of a freaky feeling leaving an old decade and going into a new one. I know you're not supposed to make a big deal about your birthday. Well, yeah, you should, but I'd say, yeah, you get to live another year. But so here's my question to you, Mike. Do you still have a little expectation of things happening on your birthday?
Well, you want a little something. I mean, it's nice to be acknowledged. I remember one time, it was just after I turned 40. It was either my 41st or my 42nd birthday. And I went to work and nobody said a word to me. I was like, I felt kind of, yeah. And then I came home and I got the accolades and everything from my family and online and all that. But nobody at work acknowledged it. And I was like, nah, well, whatever, But if you're asking, of course, nobody's going to ignore when especially if it's a birthday that's divisible by 5, you're going to get some recognition. So I wouldn't worry about that, my friend.
I mean, it's just weird, man.
Yeah, it's like nobody gives a shit about 47, but when you're 45 or 50, it's a different number. I mean,
yeah, I noticed that. I have noticed that.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I got
just how we are with how us humans are with numbers. That's all.
It's just numbers and letters and everything just created because man had nothing else better to do.
Yeah, we created the clock, which is the worst invention ever. It's like we just got up at dawn, and it's like you go to bed, the sun goes down, time, you're done with work. And that was
right.
That, but now it's 6:15. I got to be at 7:12 and 8 o'clock meeting and 8:15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the clock would be the worst invention ever made.
Yeah, I think the clock is the worst invention ever made.
Well.
To categorize time, I mean what happened when people didn't have clocks to lean on? They had nothing to you
just got up when the sun went up. When the sun came up, you start.
I see. That's wild. It's wild how we've become a categorized world, man. It's so strange.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
You watch anything? Any TV? Any movies?
Let's see. I've been like going back in my DVD collections of like older movies and things like that. Got to see all my favorite Fred Astaire movies all in one sit this week. That was kind of nice. I like a musical. And I think that Fred Astaire, in my mind, Fred Astaire could teach anybody how to dance. I mean, he had that.
Not me. I'm too white.
I don't know if there's any truth to that. White people have no rhythm.
Got no rhythm. No, it's like we just had you DJ'd my friend's wedding. Kevin and Becky.
Yeah, I remember.
You DJ'd that wedding, and I think I might have broken into dance, which was like just crazy, moving my feet crazy. I forgot what song it was.
Well, I thought it was cool, man. I thought it looked like you handled it, man. I was like, yeah, the man opens up. Look at him go.
No, I don't dance.
That made me happy when you can make your best friend dance. That's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been watching Fred Astaire movies. Okay. Anyone in particular?
Let me see. Well, there was Down to Rio, which is a good one, and then of course, they're just all great. I mean, there's really not really any one that you could like pick out because they all have something that just you get excited over the fact that when are they going to start dancing? It's just such a over the top and glamorous time in film and everything, and then you look at it, it's just visually a lot of it is like a work of art, in motion. So you kind of bring all that in, but the only weak point I thought in the movies was just some of the music, some of the old Tin Pan Alley type things, which, you're trying to have it fit the scene, but it don't fit the scene. So there were a few of those moments in those movies, but most of the music though fit in really, really well. I was genuinely.
So, what
pleased.
movies did you watch?
Let's see. Well, there was Top Hat. There was Cheek to Cheek, Down in Rio. So those were the three. I can't think of the fourth.
Okay.
Yeah. So because it came as a set. TCM, they have great movie sets like that where they'll take a subject and they'll like package it all together in one nice set. And of course, what was nice about these movies is that they also came with a short subject and a cartoon. So there were some cartoons in there I had never seen before, which I thought were really good. Some early Porky Pig, black and white Vitaphones, which my other mad obsession, besides records is cartoons. I love cartoons.
The old style.
And then of course my favorite story, trying to tell everybody that Betty Boop is black, and people look at me like with two heads, like Betty Boop's not black, and then I just sit back and it's like I have a story, and then once they hear the story, they're just like, oh. That's why it makes sense that Betty Boop loved all those, black jazz musicians, and that's why all those black musicians in the movies were there. Right. It brought to light the whole thing about Baby Esther, which, of course, in previous shows I've talked about her, But, yeah, it's amazing story, something for you people out there in internet land, put a Google to Baby Esther. Check out that story. And it'll surprise you.
Okay.
Anyway,
so you just watched some Fred Astaire and did some twitching.
I did some twitching, did some Fred Astaire, I did some scooter sounds, I did some spinning wheel, and I had to leave a page this week too because it was just Sometimes you get to places and it's just like you would think they understand the vibe and everything, but then once you get there, it's just like, okay, yeah, not so much. So not to put the page on blast or anything, but yeah, I just had to get out and block that business because it was just too weird.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. I watched that. There was a documentary that Ron Howard directed about 4 years ago called 8 Days a Week. It's about the Beatles, how they leading up to the time where they got discovered, and then when they toured the U.S. and the world until they stopped touring in '66.
Yeah, that's right, 66.
And that sums up the film. And it was interesting, a lot of candid moments, and of course they covered the whole the meat coat with the chopped up babies album and
the butcher cover.
Yeah, and the the John's remark about we're more popular than Jesus,
which was totally taken out of context.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
totally taken out of context. And that just shows the power of the media and what it can do.
And there's a brief, because this was like, obviously they had recorded Rubber Soul and Revolver, and that's when they started experimenting with drugs, and George got into the sitar, and that's when things started changing, how they started changing. Their music styles started changing. It wasn't about, he loves you, you love him, and she loves him, and they love each other. But they went from, I want to hold your hand to, Norwegian Wood. It's funny, we were doing a sound check. We were running late today, and first song Ivan puts on was Norwegian Wood.
Yeah, and it was from a site band called the Frugal Sounds.
Okay. A cover, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I watched that with the Ron Howard. I forget, it was somewhere on demand somewhere. And I watched another episode of Yellowstone, Gristle, with Kevin Costner. I guess the season finale for season 3 is this weekend, so this coming. So I guess I'll watch it. I'm not going back to start like from the beginning, but it's totally like The Sopranos, but with cowboy hats and horses and out in the country and all that. It's still compelling. It's good television. I'm not knocking it, but it's a good formula for television, and Kevin Costner is as good as usual in it, and a lot of all the women are cursed like sailors. And then the guys, they're no nonsense, gristle, beards and black cowboy hats, and I'm gonna kill you, you son of a bitch. Before I do, I'm gonna take your brand. I'm gonna take the brand from you, and I'm gonna cut you and then hang on this rope. But it was good. Well, so I'm watching that. It's okay. It's good television. I'm not knocking it. So.
Well, that's good. Well, then Yellowstone, definitely take it up with your nearest.
It's on the Paramount channel.
The Paramount channel. There you go.
The Paramount Network or whatever. And I watched the first 2 episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks, and 2 episodes in, it's like, okay, you take it for what it is. It's
is it okay?
It's like Rick and Morty, pretty much.
Okay, because I know they use the Rick and Morty style of animation, which seems to be a very widespread animated situation that they're doing with that particular style now. I don't know if that's like it's like floppy Adobe or sloppy seconds or whatever else they call it.
It's obviously in computer. Obviously, obviously nothing's cell drawn anymore, Ivan. It's all on computers.
No, I know, and I mean I've seen some really good computer-driven animation, and then you look at these things, Lower Decks, Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, and things of this nature.
Archer, Archer is in the same kind of.
Well, Archer comes off more of a what they used to call paper animation where it was just like, they would just move certain.
Well, they use still the same program for South Park.
Right, exactly.
It still looks like paper cutouts, but it's obviously way more. Way more extravagant, and they can do more, and more objects can move at a greater pace or whatever. But anyway, yeah, Lower Decks it's okay. It is what it is, and I'm getting some laughs out of it, and there's some Easter eggs for all the crazy aliens that might have had like one appearance on the old Star Trek animated series.
Okay.
Or like some mention of something that happened one episode of Star Trek Voyager. But yeah, it's okay. It's the lead character. What's her name? Mariner, I think is her name.
Mariner
comes off a little too, I don't know, like she's like Miss Perfect who can do everything.
Could you go wrong? Okay.
Yeah, well, she's a rascal who gets into trouble, but she seems like to know everything about everything, and it's like, but it's okay. That's fine. I'm not hating it. It's just. It's
not your first call.
Well, I mean, aside from the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, I've been able to get into pretty much every Star Trek. I've liked, all Star Trek, at least the TV series, and I liked Discovery and Picard to an extent. I know Jeff didn't like Picard.
Uh-huh.
But it's okay.
I watch it on H&I, where they just end up playing one episode from every show on a Sunday, which I think is excellent. It's a great way to catch up, on all those episodes. I mean, I enjoy that.
Yeah, DS9 had a lot of overarching. They had a lot of arcs where they had like stories that would continue through, like the whole season 5, 6, and 7 were pretty. 4 through 7 were all pretty cohesive. Once Worf got on, the whole conflict with the Dominion started. I know it started in 3, I think, but.
Okay.
Season 4 all the way through 7. I mean, it could be just like one big soap opera, pretty much.
Wow.
Where in TNG, where they started with one thing where they mentioned it in a later episode or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, it wasn't just episode it wasn't like the old TOS series with Shatner and Nimoy, where it's just like the planet of the week and the alien of the week or whatever.
Right, and of course they had to wrap up everything cohesively in one episode.
Right, in 40 some odd minutes, they had to resolve the situation, and they blast off to another planet. No, Spock, Spock, you're so logical. You're crazy, emotional humans. Blah. But anyway, yeah, it's good. Like I said, Lower Decks is okay. I don't know. Maybe I want to wait. I watched the first episode's free. I think it's still on YouTube for free. And the second episode has been appropriated through other means. I won't get into that.
Okay.
But I watched it, and it's okay. It's not like my favorite thing ever. I mean, it'll be hard. It's a whole hard bar to set. Like when you get something in your younger years and you really like it a lot, and then someone comes along and says, "Hey, here's something else," and you might not love it as much, but it's still part of that thing. So,
part of
that vibe.
It's because just because it is party to the rest of it. Yeah, it doesn't make it any less inclusive.
Yeah. Let's see what else. I bought a KO of a little figure that I have on my desk. Now, Ivan and I have had similar experiences with KOs. I mean, like sometimes if they're really popular or if something you really like and you want to hear it for, you don't mess with it because it's in brand new condition. Although it is a bootleg or a KO, want to call it,
right?
And you just want to see what it's about. And this one, it has its good and its bad, and it's fun to put the stickers on for the first time. And it's in mint condition, but there's obviously changes. I mean, you can tell. You put the two next to each other, you can tell which one's the KO.
So it is easily identifiable.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's fine.
I'm sorry. I said what I meant to say was, you can't fault them for trying.
Well, they're trying to make it look like an official vintage figure from 1985.
Yeah, exactly.
And, well, the expert eye can tell right away that it's fake.
Absolutely.
But some people are perfectly okay with just owning a a knockoff. You know,
Well,
we talked about this a couple weeks ago when apparently there was a big raid in China because some company that was making a lot of Transformer toys, they decided to bootleg an Iron Man figure, and you don't fuck with the mouse, so they will come after you. Just like with Bandai and Gundam, the Bandai is really protective of its IP. But this is what they did. They bootlegged an Iron Man, and they said, "Okay, we're coming in." We got like 4 people arrested, and there was a huge factory that employed like 120 people. It's got raided, and they were making, and they found all kinds of either upscaled or not like original molds, but they were Hasbro molds, but they were like upscaled, even with more detail and painting of Transformer figures. Because in China, the Michael Bay movies are extremely popular.
Right. So, well, like in any pop culture, if something's popular enough, somebody's going to find a way to make the money for themselves.
Yeah.
That's just...
So I bought this little KO, and I'm only paid like $25-$30 for it. And I'm like, okay,
well,
fine.
If it makes for happy, that's the important thing, right?
Yeah. It was interesting. It was more of an experiment. And, $30, I was not disappointed with what I got, but I was like, there's parts of it like, it's fine. But I'm sure you've had experiences like that. You're like, you have this record and you played it to death and it's pretty old and you want to have one that just not just because of monetary value, but just because you want another copy. So you buy the bootleg and you play it and it's like, it's not great, but.
Well, in a lot of cases, especially just like in toys, you got the bootleg business has been around forever. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Don't let nobody tell you that it just been around a little while. No, anything that has been in pop culture that has gotten stolen and reproduced in some other level, it's been going on forever. But anyway, it's just a situation where with records, it's just you have some people now that do the reissues and the reboots and stuff, and they really got their craft down, right down to the original labels, the issue numbers and everything like that. And of course you look at it for the aesthetic of, it looks great, but does it play as nice as it sounds? Which I would have to say a good 70% are close to that. There's still a sliding scale of 30% where you could tell that the source was either dodgy or has been recorded from another record or from an older tape or whatever else have you. And but so for the most part, I've been pretty lucky to have gotten some of the better bootlegs and or counterfeits. That used to be the old word. We just call them reissues now because they just reissued them.
Yeah, some of them reissue is more of like sugarcoating. It's a bootleg, it's a KO, and it's not an official product.
No.
And now, have you encountered KOs that are better than the original?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, see, we have that too.
Yes, I have. You get a. In fact, I played 2 of them tonight, during our sound check, and everything. And I've been wanting some Lightning Hopkins on Herald, which, of course, was a label. He made this awesome album called Lightning Strikes. And, it's Lightning Hopkins, and it's all of his guitar chops, but on an electric guitar. He's known as an acoustic guitar artist. But he got on an electric guitar for this session, and he blew it out of the water. And they released all the 45s and 78s off that album, and I ended up getting one of them. Very nice. Mark Lee Phillips did right by me here, and for $8.50. And if you buy more than one copy, shipping's free, so it's nice. But got to enjoy that tonight, and So
why did you buy the KO?
What?
Why did you buy the KO?
I bought the KO because trying to find the originals of these records, you're looking at thousands of dollars.
You see, it's why I got there was a Japanese figure which was a repaint of an American figure,
right?
That I got because the original's going for hundreds of dollars, and I got this one for like $30.
Yeah, I get.
And you want to experience the mold. You want to see what it's about.
Well, yeah,
and you want to own it too, because it's and a KO is close enough for a lot of people.
Right, and that's the beauty of, a lot of people, they make a stickler. You get you got your detractors, Mike. Where they're just like, oh, well, it's
a filthy KO. It's not authentic. How dare you?
Really, do you really think you could get away with that? And I'm thinking to myself, shit, as far as my records are concerned, you can't see the label through the speakers. You can't see the condition that the record's in through the speakers. You're hearing the music, you're digging it, right? That's where you're going, no?
Yeah. Well, there's some people in it. It's a similar situation in my community because, with the Transformers fandom, there's a huge third-party presence, and that is not going away anytime soon because Hasbro is not cracking down on the companies that are making third-party products, original molds based on their IP.
Right.
It's original. They're not making KOs of what's in the store or what you can buy through the Masterpiece figures through the online retailers. These are original molds to fill up people's collections that Hasbro hasn't made yet, or might not ever make.
Right. So for the completists and for the ultra completists who want that particular aesthetic in their collection,
yeah.
I get it. It's just, you got people pressing up 45s, all manner of things that you couldn't get. It drives down the original prices of what those records are worth. But at the same time, if I spent $850 on a record that would have cost me otherwise $400 or $500 just to own a copy of it, it's fresh, it's minted, it's new, and it's a price well paid. I mean, it's close enough to cigar. I'll take it. I mean, I'm not a purist by any means. Okay, I mean, I just like you you find something, be it the real deal or something close enough to the real deal, where it just, this is fucking cool. I'd like to have this, and so that's what that's about, so yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to say, bootleggers should bootleg, but, at the same time, these things are out there, and why would you not want to enjoy them, no?
I hear you. So anyway, I guess we can get into news. Well, I don't have a whole lot. Let me go back into the Squares Roundtable Facebook page, news feed. I know some of this stuff is comic stuff, and I'd rather have Jeff here to talk about it. I'm sure he'd have opinions on it. He has opinions on everything. That's one thing. Well, not to say that's a bad thing. We all got opinions on stuff, but Jeff knows a little more inside baseball, especially in the comic industry, because he knows the people from.
Because Jeff, he's got that talent. I mean, that's why he was part of the original three back in in the Weave days and everything, because of the fact that Jeff has got this way about him to present it as what it is.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Top story: New York Comic Con is canceled. No surprise there. Too many people crowding around. I mean, SDCC they put the nail in that coffin a long time ago, and SDCC was not what we had hoped for online. Like the virtual event that it is, it didn't turn out the way we wanted. So, and maybe hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes with New York Comic Con.
Well, who knows? But I mean, that's a very short span of time between both events to actually try to tighten things up. No, I mean,
let's see. We have a list from Forbes from the highest paid actors of 2020.
Okay.
Let's see if there's a list, or I just have to scroll down. Number 1, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with $87 million.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 87.5.
Wow.
Ryan Reynolds made more than $20 million apiece on 6 Underground and Red Notice in July. He made $71 million. He's made $71 million this year already.
My goodness.
Mark Wahlberg. He made $58 million.
Okay.
Ben Affleck, $55. Vin Diesel 54. What did he do? I mean, well,
I didn't remember Vin Diesel in anything.
Fast and Furious 9 has been pushed. It was pushed to April. Then the franchise embered burning by acting as producer. Fast and Furious Spy Races. Ash K. Kumar, because Kumar's working on his first television series, The End, for Amazon Prime. Most of the money, though, comes from endorsement deals. Shills for anything from multivitamins to toilet cleaners. Lin-Manuel Miranda, obviously, for the Hamilton thing.
Right.
Will Smith still made $44 million. What did he do? The upcoming role in King Richard, where he plays Richard Williams, father of tennis greats Serena and Venus.
Did he play a movie where he was fighting against himself?
Yeah.
What was
that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was that Gemini Man. Yeah, that thing that was rotten. Apparently. Number 9, Adam Sandler with $41 million.
Okay.
He did a pretty good job with that. The Diamond Heist movie. But he signed a deal to do 4 more movies on the Netflix platform. After his film Murder Mystery became one of the most popular films of all time. Number 10, Jackie Chan with $40 million.
Wow.
6 decades into his career, the martial arts star is as active as ever, making 5 movies in the past year. He pads his film income with millions from endorsement and licensing deals.
Wow.
So, well, good on them. So,
smart guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Stills of the upcoming Superman and Lois coming in 2021 to CW. These are the Superman from the CW verse, he first appeared in episodes of Supergirl, and he was involved in the Crisis on Infinite Earths that they did later in the year. Let's see, what else do we have?
What you got?
I had one. Oh, yeah. AMC Theater. Yeah, AMC. Big announcement from AMC Theaters. They're charging 15 cents a ticket on opening day on August 20th.
Wow. 15 cents.
As the theater chain looks to reopen 100 of its locations on August 20th, after shutting down from last spring during the coronavirus pandemic. Mm-hmm. For one day only, tickets at theaters will sell for 15 cents, roughly the equivalent of what it cost to watch a movie in 1920.
Wow. Well,
but they're running obviously nothing new, at least not yet. Because the studios aren't releasing the new films.
No, I'm sure they're going back to other stock, to other, much like some of the other services that
we talked about last week about Mulan being $30. Now, if you are a year-long Disney Plus subscriber, you pay $30 to see Mulan, you own it. But if for $30 you own the film, you can watch it whenever you want.
Oh, so that's the catch.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you cancel and you resubscribe, then you lose it.
Well, it's an incentive. There you go.
Yeah, so that makes a little more sense. That it's not just I thought it was just like a 48-hour rental, like a lot of pay-per-view does.
Yeah, no, that's a hell of a lot of money for a rental,
and
man.
With
any movie.
An article from the Hollywood Reporter saying that Disney Plus is gaining a foothold in the streaming battlefield. That obviously we knew that.
Right.
Star Wars Holiday Special is to return in Lego form. They're making a Lego version of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Wow.
I don't remember seeing it. I remember I might have seen it when it aired. I don't remember because I might have wanted to see it back then. But so yeah, that's happening.
So I heard. I've never actually seen it. There you go. So it was actually as bad as everybody says it is?
Yes, it is.
It's abysmal, huh? Oh, no.
But it's most famous for, obviously, B. Arthur was in it.
Okay.
And, of course, we get an animated short that featured the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Okay.
So, let's see, what else? Justice League, more Ray Fisher shenanigans. Apparently, according to Ray Fisher, the actor who played Cyborg in Justice League, he says that Jeff Johns made a thinly veiled threat to my career.
Ooh.
Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, promised to elaborate on his recent tweets relating to Joss Whedon, John Berg, and Jeff Johns, and the Justice League actor has now accused the latter of threatening his career. Last month, Ray Fisher took to Twitter to call out Joss Whedon for what he perceived as gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable behavior on the set of Justice League. Fisher didn't go into any more detail at the time, but the promise to elaborate on a later date. And the actor has now followed up with a damning statement on the DC Chief Creative Officer, Jeff Johns. He said, during the reshoots of Justice League, Jeff Johns summoned me to his office to belittle and admonish my and my agent's attempts to take grievances up the power chain of command, he said in his tweet. He then made a thinly veiled threat to my career. I don't think he's... Previous reports suggested that Johns... dang ads. Stupid ads. Previous reports have suggested that Johns practically rewrote Chris Terrio's script while Jack Snyder was still on board as the movie's director, and he has been accused of sabotaging the filmmaker's vision. But whether any of that is true is obviously up for debate, but Fisher's tweet is certain to add a lot of fuel to the fire. Of course, all this comes in with the news that they're dumping $30 million to make a 4-hour cut of Justice League to go on HBO Max. But
what?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but anyway.
I know we talked about it, but still, what?
4 hours. It's like I'm not gonna have to. Just gonna have to split it in two parts, like the Irishman. That's all.
Give your own intermission.
And meanwhile, DC, not just the Warner Brothers, the whole reeling with that, but Jim Lee on the company's future. We're still in the business of publishing comics. There are no pencils down notice, said the exec who weighs in on the week's major layoffs. Digital Comics interim editor-in-chief's a new Batman book from John Ridley. Jim Lee, the superstar artist from the 90s who rose through the executive ranks of DC to reach the top rungs of the company, has had better weeks. But saw the scythe of, was it last Monday?
Yeah.
DC, the home of heroes such as Batman and Wonder Woman, saw the scythe cut 20% of its staff, with many senior editors let go and a reorganization implemented that sent shockwaves through not just the company, but through the comic and DC fan community. And just like in a couple weeks, they're going to have that DC Fandome, which is like a big virtual event where we'll see probably even more titles even more teases for Jim or whatever, the sparkly vampire Batman and Wonder Woman 84, which I'm going to want to watch, which is probably going to go direct to DC, or if not DC Universe, is going to go to HBO Max because they're not going to put in the theater, probably.
Right.
Well, that's what this whole Mulan thing is. It's just a big trial balloon for how the big studios can put out the big superhero films, the big tent poles, without the use of movie theaters.
Right.
And it's interesting to watch, but it's kind of sad because, well, I think we all kind of miss going to the theater.
Well, no, I mean, I love going to the theater.
Did you see the story of that one woman who organized the whole movies at Soldier Field?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, and I think more of that could be, accommodating. Because here it is too, that the whole movie going experience, is a part of Americana. I mean, everybody. I saw your little thing about the Transformer movie going over to the drive-in, and how.
No, not the drive-in. It's the indoor theater.
It's the indoor theater that's doing that.
No, I was like, I'm proposing that maybe we could do it.
Oh man, that'd be great.
It would be, but I don't know if we can get we need a minimum of 25 people, so I need to.
Well,
I need to sound the horn of Gondor and see if I can get some more of my pals and associates to attend. We'll see.
Well, I'd like to be involved.
Yeah, because the theater business is reeling and they're in trouble, and
we need to go.
Congress going on vacation while before the second, where they talked about a second stimulus and all these businesses who could use assistance in this because things are still shut down, and certain,
Uh-huh.
Obviously we can't. Although a lot of theaters are opening around the country, but it's just not. We can't. They have to be at like 1/3 capacity, and constantly having to hire staff to clean after every time, and it's a huge burden to the theater industry.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you look at it for the fact that, well, how else is it going to survive?
Yeah,
And I mean, something better than nothing at all.
Yeah, I mean, even if it is like as a younger person, like you what movie would have been a dream for you to have a private screening with a bunch of your friends? What movie would you wanted to see?
Oh my gosh, man. Private screening with my friends. Oh my gosh.
Well, what are some of your favorite movies?
Well, I mean, it would have to be any one of the Superman movies. Would have to be Star Wars. Would have to be. Let's see. Oh my gosh, private screening. Man, that's a baited question. I don't have any one that I could nail down. But yeah, if I was
really seem you're not. Obviously you're more of a music guy, but I mean, you must have like some favorite films.
Yeah, I would like to see Quadrophenia.
Or how about the Monkees movie?
The Monkees movie Head. I wouldn't mind seeing
Head, yeah.
I would like to see Head. Yeah, if I had an audience for that. That'd be baller. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it.
But I mean, like for you get a private screening.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I'm trying to see if I can put this together because it's you need 25 people and it's $7, so it's $175.
Okay.
And for $7 a head, you get a private screening and you get a drink and a popcorn.
Wow, that sounds great.
I mean, for like a year ago, you'd pay $7 for just either one of the two. So, I'm sure I'm not a large popcorn or whatever, but I mean, like, there's somehow to help these theaters survive. And this theater in downtown, I mean, there was a time where it was closed for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And I can see why they're doing this, because obviously the outdoor is doing very well, I think. I think the outdoor is still doing. I mean, the one in McHenry, they're only playing. Obviously, drove past it a couple weeks ago where they were running like a Star Wars movie or something, or one of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's how they got to survive now.
Well,
this is what we're dealing with right now. But it's anyway. I'm looking at see if I can round.
I would definitely be a part of that if you get that together, man. That would be boss.
Yeah, we'll see.
That'd be cool. Sure, hell yeah.
So let's see what else. Things at work getting crazy. I was at work today, and now I have to watch a bunch of training videos. So I might be doing some of those at home
training video training in what?
Well, training videos, just middle to upper management kind of videos.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like maybe one of those type of videos. Well, this is how you greet the customers now.
Yeah, partly of that. I mean, we did get a pamphlet now because you hear these stories all over the country about people, like what they call mask rage.
Yeah.
Where people are upset because someone else isn't wearing a mask, or someone is wearing a mask and people don't want to wear a mask. And so it's happening all over the country. And now I guess Pritzker passed a law that it's a felony now to assault a retail employee over a mask.
Well, good.
Yeah,
because there's some ugly stories, man. I mean, you got people out there that have no patience, don't want to be bothered. It's against my rights, and I do whatever I want, and it's my country, and I live here, and I'm an American. I get it, but
well, you get the fact that we don't have to get into it, but I mean, the fact being is that there's you hear these stories about people freaking out and people making videos over it. And I mean, there's one that happened in McHenry here a couple weeks ago, and someone, it turned out they were a racist asshole, but the thing is that if you've had these stories and people come back, and it's happened in a couple of places where people come back, they get mad and they come back with a gun and they start shooting.
Right.
Because people everyone's wound so tight, and everyone's just so negative right now. And with the election coming, saying red versus blue is better, no, red is better, and like the same, like who knows where we're going to be 6 months from now, depending on who is sitting in the damn chair, in Washington D.C.
No, this is true, and
but the thing is this atmosphere of the wind, the whole fucking year is just turned to shit.
Well, yeah,
and everyone's just so upset because a lot of people are underemployed, very unemployed. There's some places that are hiring around by me.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that my niece went back to college yesterday, and although there was only when they moved her in, they had a 20-minute window because they're limiting access into the dorm room. So they had 20 minutes to move their shit in to make way for the next person.
Oh,
that way you aren't, it's not assholes and elbows, everybody trying to move in at the same time.
Right. It's the new normal.
It's a situation we're living in right now, and things will be back to normal. Hopefully,
I don't think
within a year.
I don't think we're going to be back to any real normal. I mean, I think we're past that now.
I don't think we'll be wearing masks in 2 years, Ivan.
Well, no, not in 2 years, but at the same time, I mean, look at all the stuff that has to be, be reintroduced again. People shaking hands and hugging and kissing, and people, being in the same room, less than 6 feet apart. I mean, you get to thinking about the state of the human condition when something like that is going on, and you just start thinking, well, you haven't done it. You haven't done it now for 5 months, and okay, the rest of this year, let's face it, is shot. So, and a lot of things that used to be part of the normal world is not going to exist because a lot of those places that were in that world are now gone or are going to be gone because of the state of affairs that it has become. But at the same time, it depends on all of us as individuals to manifest that change, okay? And that's when you go down and you vote, in whatever means or way or possible that you're going to vote, but vote.
So, okay. We have any other news? I just want might. I know you didn't see anything. I know I talked about what I watched, and I guess apparently I saw an article. I guess Ruby Rose, she quit her role as Batwoman.
Why?
She blamed it partially on the pandemic, and she suffered a neck injury, I guess, last year. So she had to recover from that. So, well, I guess it's a lot of pressure, and because when she was first picked to be this Batwoman, because she's bi, but it didn't mean but Batwoman's character is lesbian, so a lot of the hardcore some people were not happy with the fact that she wasn't a true lesbian. There was an article here on EW or Entertainment Weekly's website about how her decision to leave the show, because she did one season and then she did the Crisis thing, and she was fine. She did a good job. I only watched a few episodes. I can't say I watched the whole thing. Which reminds me, I still got to finish Stargirl in time for next week, so me and Jeff could talk about it.
Okay.
But anyways, she said the injury wasn't so much, especially because after she wrapped, she didn't get to finish the real finale because of COVID. Because she said, you have time in quarantine to sort of isolation, just think about a lot of different things and what you want to do and achieve in life and what you want to do. And think both me and the producers, it was a great opportunity to have a dialogue about a lot of things. I respect them so much, and they've been so respectful to me. So
there you go.
But she's. I guess they've already recast the next Batwoman,
Okay.
This Javicia, I'm probably butchering this name, but it's Javicia Leslie. Will portray Batwoman in next season.
Okay, here's something now. Do you think it's going to be a fluid transition from one actress to the next, or are there definite facial physical differences between the two?
Well, there are differences, yes. I wouldn't know about how whether it's going to be like two Darrens in Bewitched, or it's going to be a different person portraying the role, or it's going to be a different character, or they're just going to say, nope, you're the new so and so, you're the new. No one's supposed to notice, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So, in lieu of all that, you're just like, okay, you can only hope for the best, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do fine. CW has been very good at making that kind of television. But like I said, I need to finish Stargirl. I was very pleased with what I saw in season 1, and I guess Doom Patrol's not bad either. That's still on DC Universe. I haven't watched it, but I did. Okay. We got a glimpse of it in season 1 of Titans when they introduced Beast Boy into the mix.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we wish Jeff the best of luck. We'll have him next week. We'll hopefully talk to him and all that crazy public speaking stuff he's doing online.
Yeah. I mean, I like when Jeff goes on Facebook and he does the Dynamite productions, which are really cool. Check in on those on Facebook. And anytime the man goes on, he's got a lot of wonderful and good and solid things to say. I mean, it's one of the many dynamics I love in Jeff, because he's, his perspective, his what can I say, is very raw and straightforwardness of the things he wants to address and everything, and just the fact that he's just wickedly funny. He's a wickedly funny dude.
And Ivan, you got your Twitch thing. That's JAVANIVAN on Twitch.tv, or download the app and you can find Jive and Ivan with extra A's in there. It's Jive and Ivan with Java and Ivan, I think would be the best way to put it. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell. You can subscribe, and then you'll know when we get new content. All these crazy news stories we have on our sister show, our sibling show. We don't want to, it's a brother show. So we don't discriminate. We're gonna. That's it's on News of the Squared. Shout out to Scott.
Scott,
have you heard from him? Yeah, you heard how he's doing?
Yeah, he's doing fine. I get texts from him. I see him on the Facebook pages. I see him from time to time.
Okay, well, shout out to Scott, man. Sometimes comes up with some good articles. I appreciate that. So you can download this show on the typical audio podcast hosting platforms that you're used to, either Apple or Spotify, Google, Anchor, PodBean. And email us if you like. SOTRTpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us here on the abridged version of the Square to the Round Table.
Start a little late. Rang a computer.
My poor man's brain's frazzled. But
so we'll have Jeff next week, and we'll talk to you again then.
Y'all take care, and it'll be... Hey, that's right. It'll be my birthday. Oh, man, that means I can make cake. Well, but how would I share it with you guys? Oh, well.